Hi again, another little video. I'm gonna do my lighting for the nacelles, and I'm debating on two different LED tapes to use. They're both double density. There's the wider 805 that most of us are hopefully familiar with, but there's also the smaller, these are the 3528 double density. These are just as bright and are very useful for fitting into little tiny spaces. In fact, I use a set of 3 for the lower lights on the hangar deck, the exterior lights, because this fits perfectly underneath the deck itself in that little slot, and you can just drill a couple of holes to lead your wires back from it. I'll show that when I get to that part. But what I'm thinking of doing, since I have a bunch of this, I had ordered a couple of spools of it. The spools come like this. I'd accidentally ordered a couple of them, so I want to use it all, and what I'm thinking of doing is just placing it up at the top as well as down below up against the mounting struts to flood the area with as much light as I can, so that I can leave the backside, the bottom of the trough as it were, clear in case I wanted to still drill in a couple of flood holes to put some floodlights on either side of the registry number itself. Still playing around with that idea, but this is one way to solve that, because otherwise I could just put one long string of this up at the top, but I don't know that I would necessarily get the right light effect, because typically I put it right across the center so it directly backlights the warp area on the inside. Now what I'll also do is down at the end of it, whichever one I go with, okay, I'll pull some wires off of this to feed the 5mm flicker, white flickering light that I'll put in the end cap, and leave the front end ground and power to connect up with the polar lights bussard lighting, and then run my ground and power down through the nacelle strut itself. So those are a couple of things I'm looking at doing. I'm going to go ahead and prep these for use, because I know I will get around to using them in some manner. And where did I put my solder? It's laying around here somewhere. I've got 2 of them, trying to keep an even use on both. So just putting my little solder beads at both ends so I can immediately put the wires on. If you haven't done any soldering, it's wonderfully easy. I never did lighting in my models when I was a kid because I just wasn't sure about how to do it, and a few years ago just got onto YouTube and decided to look it up and see how easy or hard it would be, and when I saw how easy it was, I just kind of went crazy and started lighting all of my kits that I started redoing, because now I know how to do it. So if you've ever been afraid of doing it, please don't be. It's incredibly easy. A little bit of an investment up front for your equipment, but well worth all the payoffs you're going to get with your kits after that. In fact, you may find that you go a bit overboard with lighting things compared to how you might have been in the past. I look at kits now and think, yeah, I would love to have that because of how I would light it. So just, as Clint Eastwood would say, know your limitations. But it is fun knowing how to do this, and that all you got to do is look up a couple of YouTube videos, and pretty soon you're going to know exactly what you're doing too. So I'll come back to this and show you what I've got set up a little bit later. Thanks.